Welcome to the World and Imam Hussein show. In this episode, we will be interviewing Dr.Syed Inayatullah Andrabi, who is a Sunni Muslim author and former university professor and lecturer. We want to find out what he thinks and knows of the story and legacy of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him. Dr. Andrabi was born in Kashmir, which is currently occupied by India. He grew up in a mainly Sunni area. But he says there were a significant number of Shia Muslims in Kashmir who commemorated the tragedy of Karbala during Ashura and Muharram. When was it in your lifetime when you first heard about Imam Hussein and the tragedy of Karbala? Do you remember when the first time that was?
I mean, it's relevant to the extent that Hazrat Imam Hussein lies at the very heart of Islamic consciousness. Anybody born anywhere, when we come to senses, when we come to adulthood, when we start understanding the world around us, Imam Hussein is very much there. It's one of the first things which one learns about, because what happened in Karbala has been kept alive by the processions of Muharram. Now, I remember a small child when we used to see the processions of Muharram and all that goes on with this. So
you saw this in Kashmir?
Yes, in Kashmir, yes.
When you were a small child?
Yes, as a small child, because I was, I mean, by chance we were living in a location where there were so many mourners of Imam Hussein, where there were so many Shia Muslims. But if I was not, even then, it is so prominent, the Muharram and the processions of the Muharram. It's so prominent that nobody would miss it. Nobody would say that I had not seen it. So my earliest memories are that of a child and watching the procession of the Muharram, and that had the impressions which are life-lasting impressions.
What else did your community do when it came to Ashura and Muharram and remembering Imam Hussein? Tell us some of the stuff that they used to do.
People used to, cutting across again the Shia Sunni, people used to hold dinners and invite people and give them free food in the name of Imam Hussein. Invite them for a big dinner and serve them very good food only in the name of Imam Hussein, because these are the days. So it used to be so many functions held, so many such invitations held. So it's the month of Muharram throughout, after the 10th also, is full of the interaction, people inviting each other, eating at each other's places. And and I remember myself in university and in the student community, we used to hold special programs commemorating the martyrdom and talking about what martyrdom is, talking about what Imam Hussein has done and what's the relevance of that to Islam, and educating people on that. And it was not me only, but other such organizations, such Islamic political organizations, they used to hold special programs, gatherings where scholars come and they deliver learned lectures about it and all this. So Muharram is really a month of full activity on all the levels, intellectual level, social level, people interacting with each other and people learning about it. So all these activities are found in Muharram, and I have seen this. I remember, I agree with this.
So when you first heard about the story of Karbala and Imam Hussein, and you read more about it. What struck you the most during the tragedy of Karbala?
When I started working on my faith, and when I started understanding my faith, I could later understand the more fundamental and subtle aspects of the whole of this whole episode, of the whole what happened at Karbala. But in the beginning, it's always an emotional sort of thing. So, and what strikes everyone most was that they were killed in Karbala, children, women, and men, and in a state of thirst. Water was blocked on them. That's why you see in Muharram, as we were discussing, I was talking earlier, you will see in the julus, in the procession of the Muharram, you will see at so many places people deliberately keep water. Water is served because it was the day when water was denied to the Holy Imam. So it was that was the thing which was most striking, I think, to most of the people, not only to me.
How much of an impact did the story of Imam Hussein have on you, personally, and also other members of your own family? Tell us some of the inspiration that you received from his legacy.
I can tell you from on my part, or my children, my wife, my family. This is Imam Hussein represents the sort of ultimate in Islam. I mean, one cannot go when it comes to the sacrifice, and when it comes to standing up for Islam, one cannot go beyond that. It represents a sort of the ultimate. And the more I have thought about it, and I have written some brief pieces about it, which are on the internet. It has become clear to me that if Imam Hussein had not come to Karbala, if he had not done what he did, things would have been. I mean, nobody knows what things have. Islam would have been something. It would have not been what it is, if because Islam has to be. Islam has to remain. The crux of Islam. Islam has to remain the revelation of God, which started with the first man, the Adam. It continued, God sent prophets, and it finished with the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the crux of Islam. And this has remained so far, I believe, only by what Hazrat Imam Hussein did. If he had not done, maybe Islam would have become some sort of an Arab imperial legacy, say a religion as we see religions coming from China, or like those geography related traditions or religions. Islam might have been understood by this time. Maybe we would have been understanding it as something coming from Arabs, the kings, the great empires. It could have been exactly like that if Imam Hussein had not intervened, because he intervened, and his intervention was deliberate and properly thought through. He had thought through, and being an Imam, he had an inspiration from God. He had a sort of he not only thought by his mind, he had an inspiration because of which he did what he did. He came to Karbala and stood up. If you go to the very depth of Karbala, if you go to the very depth of why Imam Hussein decided to take such a step, why he came with all his family, and why he put all his family in Karbala. If you go to the very depths of it, you can find out that this was the line. The line was between Islam and Arab nationalism. Imam Hussein had to assert the principle. He said that I have come to reform the deen of my grandfather. This was his. He declared in one of his khutbahs, which he delivered at Karbala. He said, I have come for this. I have come to reform. Reform means that something wrong had happened. Now the wrong direction was precisely this. It was going in the direction of Arab supremacy, Arab nationalism, which was not what Prophet had come for. Prophet had come to deliver a divine agenda for the humans, because Islam is for the humans. It's an agenda for human welfare. Now Islam is basically an agenda to help people in this world and make them successful for the life hereafter. It has to do nothing with the races and Arabs or non-Arabs, but something had happened. As you see, the kingdom of Muawiyah. Muawiyah himself said that he is the first king of Islam. It's his words, nobody else's. He himself said his kingdom was on the pattern of the Roman Empire. He was making it all the glorious and magnificent to match the Roman Empire. Now this was the problem. Islam was getting gradually. It would have become a sort of a matter of Arab pride, but Imam Hussein's, what he did in Karbala, it drew a fine distinction between the Islam and Arab nationalism, and that lies at the very root of it, and that lies at the very root of what Imam Hussein meant when he said that I am going to reform the deen of my grandfather.
Dr. Andrabi started to read more about the tragedy in Karbala many decades ago, and he believes that some Sunni scholars have failed to criticize Muawiyah for paving the way of his son Yazid's selfish upbringing. He believes more Muslims need to look at the martyrdom of Imam Hussein with an open mind to see what really happened in Karbala and the significance of the event. That is why Dr. Andrabi commemorates Ashura along with his family and friends, so that they do not forget the massive injustice that happened nearly 14 centuries ago. What do you think makes Imam Hussein's story relevant in today's world?
His relevance is actually for the whole humankind. The relevance lies in the fact that it's the belief in something. You believe in a principle, and there is a saying. I think it's a saying by a non-Muslim, but it's a good saying. It's a saying that if something is not for which you cannot die, then it's not for which you should live. So Imam Hussein made Islam a principle for which one should live and one should die. That means if you hold something dear and there is nothing personal in it, there is nothing selfish about it, it's all about good intentions, then you must not sit idle, and you must take this step. You must take the initiative. What Imam Hussein did. Now, everyone may not take the initiative of a Karbala type initiative. Everyone may not be qualified to do that. Imam was placed at a very high intellectual and spiritual pedestal. Everyone does not match that, but the lesson for the whole humanity is that when you see things going wrong and you believe in something, and your belief shapes your life, then you should not sit and watch. You should take the initiative, because if something is what you are living for, it is something what you should be ready to die for. It's not necessarily you should die, but you should be ready to die for.
Do you think a lot of Sunnis know about the story of Imam Hussein in Karbala, or do you think there's a cover-up about what really happened there?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. If you talk to the Sunni Muslims, and if you watch some television channels where Sunni Muslims and the ulama, they talk about Karbala, you will see that they are very much they really mourn for what has happened, and they will talk very high of Imam Hussein and Zainab and all these people. But as you said, there is definitely a cover-up. And let's see what the cover-up is. The cover-up is that they direct all their guns at Yazid, which is a fact. I mean, to the extent that Yazid, at that time it was Yazid, and Yazid ordered what happened at Karbala. Now, but my point is that you can't direct all your guns at Yazid without understanding the background of Yazid. It's absolutely unscientific to look at something without looking at its context. If you see in the physical world, when we conduct scientific experiments, or in the social or historical world, when we study events, we always take into consideration the background that was there before something happened. Nothing happens all of a sudden. This is a rule in this creation of God, and we must understand that everything in this world works according to the Sunnah of Allah. Allah has prescribed laws in this world for things to happen. Nothing happens all of a sudden. Now, where the cover-up is that people in the same breath, they keep praising Muawiyah as well as saying good words about Hussein, and it does not make sense. If you praise Muawiyah and as well as Imam Hussein, and then only you say bad things about Yazid, and you hold him only responsible, that's not the true understanding of what happened. Because the true understanding is that a rot had set in. A rot had set in. It was only a matter of time that Yazid did what he did. It was only a matter of time. So unfortunate things had started happening, and it was the culmination, and it was to happen. It was a matter of time, because when you see a vehicle, it has taken a wrong direction. It should have not gone left, but it has started moving left. Then it's only a matter of time when it hits the what you had thought it should never hit, but it will hit once it has set itself on that direction. So the cover-up lies precisely there, and it's the duty of all enlightened, all sincere people to educate people about this, because as I told you in the beginning, Imam Hussein lies at the very consciousness of Islam. I can hardly imagine a Muslim who may not be feeling too much when it comes to Imam Hussein, and who may not be loving Imam Hussein and what happened, and who may not be loving Prophet's family. But what needs to be explained to them is their love for Imam Hussein does not have meaning. It does not have it should have meaning, and it should be authentic. For having meaning, they have to understand the whole thing. They have to understand how it happened, who did it, and they have to get a proper understanding of what preceded Karbala. And there is where cover-up takes place by vested interests. They do not want it to happen, but those people who are independent and do not have any vested interest and are sincere for Islam and for people and want people to think properly, they should note this point.
Please talk to us about Imam Hussein's personality and his spiritual significance.
If you see Imam Hussein, he was the closest person to Prophet himself. As we come across so many events that he used to go on the back of a Prophet when he was praying, when he was in the sajda. So he was very much, he has close intimacy with Prophet. And we also know that the Prophet والسلام, he said this thing is going to happen at Karbala, and he knew this thing is going to happen for Imam Hussein. So he knew fully well that God has kept a very high station for Imam Hussein, and he will one day, he will come across, he will face this. And then when you come down further, you will see that Imam Hussein's father, Hazrat Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, who Prophet said that he is the Babul Ilm, and Prophet is the Madinatul Ilm. Prophet is the city of the knowledge, and every city has a gate, and the gate is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he grew in the supervision of Imam Ali, and he grew in the unique, affectionate lap of Hazrat Fatima Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam. And that was something which is the spiritual significance of which is too much, which I am too weak a person to talk about that, what it means to be nurtured by a lady like Hazrat Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam. And it would have not been without that Imam Hussein could do in Karbala what he did. It's an extraordinary, you can't sort of, you can do so many things, you can order them. For example, there are great speakers, there are speakers who are paid thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for speaking for 1 hour, because they are very good in public speech. But public speech is something that you send someone to a college of public speech. There are colleges of public speech who train you how to speak, how to use words. So you can order so many things, but what Imam Hussein did, it can't be, you can't make it an order. You can't order it. It is something very divine, and that would have not happened had it not been for the fact that he was nurtured in the lap of Hazrat Zahra alayhi salatu wasalam. And that was something very great, which made him unique.
What would you like to tell the world about your own experiences of Imam Hussein?
What happened at Karbala, it's not simply an event that took place so many centuries back, and they are looking back at an event, and some are mourning, some are not mourning, some are going into procession, some are not going into procession, and they are simply commemorating it. Commemoration is not the ultimate thing. Commemoration is a natural thing. People, what happened there, people will keep mourning, and people will keep saying what happened. They will, their eyes will be filled with tears, and they will weep, they will cry, and this is quite natural. This will happen, but this is not where it should end. What happened at Karbala has a future dimension, and they must understand the future dimension of it. The future dimension of it is to stand up before tyranny. It is to stand up, it is to resist anything which is forced on you. You have independence, God has created you independent for the worship of God. You have to preserve, you have to uphold your independence. What happened at Karbala was basically about the bay'ah. Imam Hussein would not give his allegiance to someone who he thought is not qualified for that. So it is for us, for all the humanity at large. They don't have to look at it as something which happened, but as something which will guide them in future. And the guidance is this, that they must not compromise their independence. They must not give in to the tyranny. They must not give in to the force. They should listen to their conscience, and they should not compromise on that.
Mr. Andrabi, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, it was my pleasure talking to you and talking on such a great subject. As I told you, I feel myself too humble when it comes to a subject like this, but I could tell you some of my understanding and some of what I have learned from it. But thank you very much. It was a pleasure.